Shalom, Israel. It's the Sabbath. Today is Saturday. And I wanted to make this recording for a while, but I put it off because I was processing a lot of emotions following the Ferguson shooting. And there were a lot of things that I wanted to convey to my people regarding that whole incident. So today's conversation is going to be based on Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verses 7 through 9. Most Israelites know verse 7 by heart. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. We know that we are the chosen. We know that the Most High has blessed us with the spirit of wisdom and of understanding. So we know that we have the capability to be very wise and very cunning. However, oppression maketh a wise man mad. And unfortunately, oppression has hindered the wisdom of our people on many different levels. And this is clearly seen in the Ferguson incident, as well as other incidents across our nation. What we need as a people is a shift in perspective on how we view not only the will of our Father, the Most High, but our role in the will of our Father, the Most High. So this particular talk, I'm going to start off with Ecclesiastes 7 in relation to the Ferguson incident first. And then I'm going to get a little deeper into this shift in perspective that we, the nation of Israel, need to have when it comes to existing in this society, in this wicked system of Babylon. A shift in perspective in how we deal with the other nations and how we respond to the other nations and our entire perspective on the other nations. So to start off, I'm going to get into this Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verses 7 through 9, and I'm going to read those now. Verse 7 starts off, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. Verse 8, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. Verse 9, be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the bosom of fools. Verse 10, I'm going to add this in. Say not thou, what is the cause that the former days were better than these? For thou dost not inquire wisely concerning this. Basically, let's start at verse 8. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. We know that this thing is going to end a lot better than it has been for us in our generation, and a lot better than it began for our forefathers in their generation. We know what the end result is. We know that the kingdom of heaven is going to come down and that Israel is going to reign. So we know what the end is. So it is irrational. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, or irrational. It is irrational to get caught up in the now. The second half of that verse, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. This is in particular important to how we be at in Ferguson, and we know many more of these incidents are going to come. We know that we are in warfare. We know that Shaitan is angry with the woman, and we know that he's going to make war with the woman, and we know that we're going to be at the receiving end of a lot more attacks. So why does verse 8 say, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit? Let's be honest. All of those people in Ferguson not negating their emotions and then processing their emotions through their protesting and their rallying, that was not patient. And it was more proud in spirit. It was more of I am going to show this wicked nation that I am somebody. I am going to show this wicked nation that my emotions matter. I am going to show this wicked nation that they can't treat me this way. The problem there is that you, my brothers and sisters, cannot do anything. We are powerless. All of the scriptures tell us that we are powerless. There is no might in your hand. There is no might in your hand. There is no might in your hand. We as a nation have been here before. We've been here before. This was a civil rights protest all over again. It's surely oppression making a wise man mad. It is irrational to think that after a system, come on, the nations colluded, right? We know what the scriptures say. They colluded against us. They conspired to steal our nationality, to steal our spirituality, to steal our land and our riches. And they spent millennia, thousands of years eradicating our strength, eradicating our spiritual growth, destroying us as a people. It is truly irrational to think that this system is all of a sudden going to give you justice. Why are we asking them for justice? Do we think we're really going to get justice? Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. Then it goes on in 9. Be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the bosom of fools. We have to find better ways of processing our emotions, Israel. We have to realize that in these last days and these last times, we can only depend on ourselves. And when these situations arise, we need to come together as a people and cry unto our God, because it is the only way that we will get any justice. Our God is going to give us justice. The Most High is going to bring us justice. We are not going to get it from the system. And it is irrational. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. It is irrational to go to these people in a peaceful protest, a march with signs, Molotov cocktails, guns, however you want to take it to them, thinking that you're going to get some justice. Okay? One of the things I want to touch on that I just saw as I was sitting here with my Bible open before me is verse 12 in this very same chapter, Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 12. For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it. So we have to defend ourselves wisely if we want to get through this. We have to realize that how we approach these things cannot be the same way we always approached it. We have to remember, and this isn't scriptural, but the proverb that if you do the same thing, you will get the same results. And we know what happened with the civil rights when we protested. We got hosed, we got bit, we got brutalized. And all that happened is we got a couple of pacifiers, and we slowly watched the degradation back to an even lower state than we were then over the next 50 years. So we know that we are down and they want to keep us down. So it is irrational to go to them asking for any type of justice. Now that I've dealt with that, I had a lot of emotions over the Ferguson incident. I spent a lot of time crying. I spent a lot of time cursing. I spent a lot of time doing a lot of unladylike conversation regarding that incident, because we are human, and I was angry. But as I processed it, I did have a different perspective on it, I think, than a lot of us Israelites have as regards to us dealing with the other nations. And that's why I'm going to get into now a shift in perspective, Israel. I want to talk about things, and these are all things that I have heard through the videos from the brothers. So the brothers have this wisdom. They know these things, but what we have not done as a nation is taking a step back and looking at the whole picture. I mentioned that in my last lesson about line upon line, precept upon precept, being similar to a glass darkly, and reading the book in and of itself is like face to face, though I come in the volume of the book. So when you read the entire Bible, all the way through from cover to cover, you get the entire picture. You don't just get the precepts. You don't just get the statutes. You don't just get the history. You get the entire picture. And so what do we know? What do we know as a nation for a fact? One, we know that we're his chosen people, and we were chosen to be separate and holy unto him. Two, we know that the other nations were considered as nothing to him, less than spittle on the ground, irrelevant. Three, we know that the prophecies state that the nations will get their comeuppance when Christ returns, when our Messiah returns. He's going to save us from our enemies. He's going to make war with them, and he's going to call them all to judgment, and they will receive the recompense for their actions. 4, we know that the nation of Esau, Edom, is going to be completely eradicated. So we know that all of the evils that were done to us are going to be poured upon their head. So these things we know. What should we take from that? Let's look at our history. I think that's the most important thing to take from that, is that if the Most High, our Father, Yahuwah, said that the other nations are irrelevant and insignificant to him, should they not be equally irrelevant and insignificant to us? I think that is one of the reasons why he said, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, because anger is a poisonous emotion. And if you don't have wisdom and you don't have patience, anger can make you do things that you would not normally do, as do other strong emotions make you do things that you would not normally do. So these emotions are fine, but we cannot act off of these emotions. We have to take a step back and look at this thing with wisdom. So if Yahuwah said that these nations are irrelevant, they're nothing, like spittle on the ground, drop of the bucket, and we look at our entire experience since our nation of people were chosen and elected by the Most High to bring his message and to report his wisdom in the earth, we also know that everything in this world was created by the Most High for his purpose. So he created the nation of Esau for his purpose. And we know that the nation of Esau was created to play the role of the wicked on the earth. So if they're irrelevant, but he had to create them to play the wicked on the earth, why? Does anyone wonder why? And I know the Bible says that it is not for us to know the mind of God, and his thoughts are not our thoughts, and his ways are not our ways. But if we take a step back, sometimes we can get an inkling as to why things are done. If we look at the big picture and know that God is omnipotent, omniscient, he's all-powerful, all-knowing. He saw this thing play out. He knew which way it was going to go, and he had an end goal in mind. So when I look at the whole situation of our people, from when Moses led us out of Egypt, and as we crossed the desert, as we made it to the promised land, and as we fell in the promised land, what was the purpose of Esau? What was the purpose of the other nations? When we look at Esau playing the role of the wicked on the earth, it makes me look at the wickedness that our forefathers committed. And when you look at the Bible and you see how thick the Old Testament is compared to the New Testament, this shows just how long the Father, our Father, the Most High, spent trying to get us to do right, and we kept straying to wickedness. And he warned us. He didn't want to punish us. He loved us. He tried over and over and over and over and over and over again to lead us away from our punishment, but he knew we would not get the point. And this is the pride and the vanity that comes with being chosen by the Most High. We tend to think that it's something about us, and he tells us over and over again that it is not us. It is by his choosing. So we should humbly accept that grace. But we would not turn away from wickedness. So we fell, and everything was taken from us, and someone else took our identity. They became the Jews. They became the chosen people. They became supposedly the leaders of the world. But they were wicked. We know Esau was created to play the wicked, so we know they're wicked. So what was the purpose of this? Why would the Most High put his chosen people on the bottom and let the wicked rise to fullness and greatness? I, in my opinion, from my readings and the wisdom and understanding upon my spirit as I read the word, believe that it was to show us as a people why we had to be punished, so that we would humbly accept our punishment, thank Him for the grace, and realize that had He not punished us, we would have been the ones responsible for all the wickedness in the world. And we are still indirectly, because we did not follow His commandments. But the purpose was to show us what would happen to the world, the earth, our home, the gift that He gave us to take care of, if wickedness was given free reign. We know that none of the other nations have known His judgment. They're just starting to see them now. We knew His judgments because we were the ones who had to learn, because we were the ones that He chose. We had to learn this lesson. We had to see what would happen if wickedness was left unchecked in the world. So let's be honest, this is our mess. And it's going to be Yahushua, our Messiah, who's going to come back and clean up our mess. This is our mess. So as these things go forth, as they ramp up the heat against Israel, we have to take a step back from our anger and not be so concerned about what is done to us, and look more upon the offense to our Most High. We should respond with the words of the Most High. I personally don't think we should be marching or protesting anywhere. We're supposed to be coming out of this wicked society. So to be seeking justice from this wicked society, to me, is irrational. Why are we seeking justice and equality and equity from these people if we are coming out of these people? We are coming out of these people. This is not our system. They can do whatever they want to with it, because the Most High is going to deliver us from this system. So as we go forward through these times, and they ramp up the pressure, remember, Israel, shift of perspective. The Lord showed us something. We have to take note of it. We see what happens when wickedness reigns unchecked. Let's not contribute to it. I think that's pretty much all I had to say. I can't think of anything else to add. Anything else would just be gratuitous. So with that, I'm just going to say, Shalom, brothers and sisters. And consider that. Watching over me,